Welcome, everyone, to the final broadcast of the week. This is PreMarket Prep at the close. Spencer Israel and Joel Elconin, joined by special guests today, Brent Slava, head of our news desk. Brent, thanks so much for stopping by.
Heck
Joel,
yeah.
let's get your thoughts on this market here. There's not a lot to like today.
You know what? Let's look at this from a week perspective here, young Mr. Israel. We closed last Friday at 28.29.50. We had a little dipsy doodle Sunday night to 28.12.75. Went up to 29.65 yesterday, and we're doing a round trip. We're coming back. We could be within 7 point. Right now, we're within 7 points of last Friday's closing price. So, I don't know if it's a win for the Bulls yet, a win for the Bears. I'd have to say that closing near the lows of the session for the week after our earnings, the big week of earnings, I construe that as a little negative for the market. Never got near that pre-market high of 79.75. Your intraday high 57.75 came down right to where we were supposed to. Monday's low 12.75. Our current low is 11.75. So 28, 11.75, 12.75. You bulls can look at it as a double bottom, and you bears out there, we go through there, and we got some work to do in the 2,700 handle. Crude having a good day, up 48 cents at 22.53, was as high as 23.40. Gold, the old Friday rebound in gold, you got down to 16.76, turned around, now back over 1,700, up $16.50 at 17.1070. Silver in the green as well by 10.2 cents at 15.07 and a half. Bitcoin trying to get that close over 9,000. Doesn't look like we're going to have it yet. Trading down $75 at 8,875.
Wait, Joel, is there a reason that you started looking at the July crude contracts rather than the June?
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
What is that reason?
Because the June is liquidation
All
only.
right, we talked about this. Yep.
Yeah, we did. So for the speculators out there that want to short, they got to go out to July. So I have adjusted my numbers to July since it's a true market where you can buy and you can sell.
All right. We were wondering, talking before we came on here, is what's the news of the day? What happened today? And Brent, you didn't see a lot out there aside from Tesla. This is just the story that never ends with this one, right? I mean, that's what makes it so interesting is they have a week's worth of news in 1 hour.
Yeah, God's blessed that it was a pretty quiet end of the week here. We definitely haven't had a quiet close to the week in a while. So I was kind of glad that it was a little quiet today. But yeah, a few traders asked me what was going on with today. I still think that we have a little bit of continuation, a little bit of a hangover from the comments that the administration was making about potentially some kind of tariffs on China or whatever. And then the other thing that I was pointing out was, that kind of weird close yesterday that we had around the 2,900 level. I mean, it was right there, literally a few minutes away from the close. If we would have closed over 2,900 yesterday, I think that the story could be, different today. And then Apple was a big story from last night. Obviously, Amazon. I think with Apple, people were asking me, why did Apple react this way at the open? And I think how I was kind of trying to take it back to was we don't really know why the stock reacted the way it did after the earnings report last night, right? We look at the numbers and we're kind of like, okay, these numbers, they're pretty good, it seems. And then the stock sells off right away after hours, and we didn't really know why. So people at the open were saying, hey, why is Apple rallying? I said, well, do we know why it sold off last night? And kind of the answer was, no, we didn't. From the sell side, the sentiment on Apple today was all pretty positive as far as I could detect.
And same with Amazon too. The sentiment was pretty positive.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. I was digging through a few research notes on Amazon, and all the analysts were pretty much like, cool, this was an all right quarter. I think with Apple at least, the fact that they didn't give any guidance was something, but I don't know who was expecting them to give pretty accurate guidance, So That was one thing that I saw cited, but I necessarily didn't really kind of believe it a little bit.
Yeah,
I think
just
the
a
news of the day. I think we have to go back to Elon Musk here,
Yeah.
and Spencer. You put it a good way during the pre market show or pre post market show. That's a tongue twister. That he was really behaving well,
he
and
was. He was.
stays. Yeah, and
How'd you say it, Spence? He fell off the wagon.
Yeah,
Is it off the wagon? Is it on the wagon?
yeah, he was doing so well. It's like if you've ever tried to change a behavior, if you've ever tried to lose weight or quit drinking or do this or do that, and you do really well for a while at whatever it is you're trying to change, and then when you fall, you don't just fall a little bit, like you fall a lot, and like he fell a lot today. This is his most bizarre rant since funding secured at 420. That was back in August. So I think it was in August at least. So he just really bizarre stuff from Elon, and I didn't even notice. Completely missed David Einhorn from Green Lake Capital from his comments from yesterday that he tweeted at Elon questioning their accounts receivables for the quarter, which you never want to see. But between David Einhorn's pretty pointed questions,
Absolutely.
Elon Musk's really bizarre stuff today on Twitter, just really weird. I mean, I think it spooked the market, and for good reason.
Were you guys looking around at like the sentiment around Musk doing that? Like, was anybody talking with traders, listening to traders on social or whatever about sort of why he did that? People weren't happy. People didn't seem happy with his outburst today.
I talked to just before I got on the horn with you guys. I was talking to Dennis about it, and he goes, "You talk about a tweet to trade off. Holy mackerel! What CEO goes out and says that about his own company stock?"
Well, he's said this before. He's said stuff like this before. I don't know if it was. I can't remember if he had done it on Twitter, sort of so openly like that. But I guess I'm sort of just like I don't know if we can be surprised by him anymore.
Smells to me like they might need some more financing. They might need some more money, and
That
that would not be good. I mean, the tweet yesterday, free America, he wants people to, go out and buy his cars. And then, and this tweet today, I'm not long the stock. I'm not short the stock. Well, actually, I'm long the stock through one of my portfolios with Lisa, but not a large position. And I don't know. I mean, I just don't like the way it's shaping up here, and the market's taking heed of its call down $81 here, trading at 701, and we hit the upper 800s yesterday. I think we got close to 870. So, not what you want to see a couple days after earnings.
Yeah. So
and
first,
I don't know if you guys talked about this real quick, Spence, but there was an analyst. We highlighted it in a Benzinga.com article. I forget which analyst it was right now, but they were sort of speculating that they would announce an offering with the earnings report. Obviously, didn't happen, right? But just maybe you're not that far off there, Joel.
Okay. That's
yeah. I mean, to your point, Brent, what CEO says that about their own stock? And if you actually click on that tweet, the tweet where he says Tesla stock price is too high, the first response is a guy saying, "Dude, I just lost 10K because of this tweet." I mean,
I'm sorry.
it's
sorry
funny,
to
but
be
it's not.
laughing,
It's
but
funny, but
it's not funny.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be laughing if it was me.
No.
It's insensitive of me to be laughing that way. I feel bad for that person, but I mean, it's Elon Musk. It's this day and age where we have this kind of communication. I guess I guess we just can't really be that surprised by this kind of stuff right now.
Joel, I wonder if we're rallying here only because I want to pull up Gilead. Gilead just got a couple of headlines through.
Yeah, I see that.
Trump has authorized Gilead for emergency authorization use from the FDA, and the drug is authorized now to be used in hospitalized patients, and the stock is catching a bid off that headline.
And the market with it too.
Yeah, it did. It did. And then we got, did we get any kind of a burst here? We're we're just right at 350 now. I thought I just saw us trading up. Yeah, we just did a quick spike up to 28, 24, 75. That was just about a minute ago. So don't know how the imbalances came out. But quickly turning around off that quick pop, whether or not it was the Gilead or
Hmm.
yeah, but no, we're fading into the close here, folks.
Hmm.
Looks like we're going to be closing near the lows of the week for the session. 1175, that's your current low. 1275 was your low on Monday. So market giving back all those gains from earlier in the week, and you have to wonder about the old follow through on the Friday higher low close settle for the week, and then the following follow through on Sunday night here. But bulls are digging in. They're trying to defend that low of the day. Other issues that we talked about this morning.
Well, wait, Joel, but pull up Gilead here.
Well,
You know,
yeah, I was gonna say, did we just witness a little change in sentiment here? I mean, Gilead was arguably
Down.
the leader for the entire market, right? When there was Gilead news, the market moved. Did that just not happen? Did we just see a little change there?
I think you might be onto something.
Gilead didn't move. Gilead did move here.
Gilead did move, but what I meant, Joel, is like, when we had that midweek news out of Gilead, the market moved right with it, stared lockstep with it, and if we didn't see that just now, if we didn't see the market pop with Gilead here, maybe that means that maybe the market's not looking to Gilead as a leader anymore.
That's an excellent point. Gilead, it popped from 79.80. I believe that news came out within the last 15 minutes. It got to 80.73, but now it's coming right back down to that area where it started the last bracket. And I believe that as I was watching the CNBC here, I've noticed that that news I think came out before 3:45. So great point of the coupling here as the S&Ps head towards the lows of the session. Maybe that Gilead news is not enough to save this market today, moving in on the lows of the session.
And you can also sort of see how quickly the market like moves to the next thing, right? Like, when was the remdesivir news? Was that Wednesday? So like, did we get that all digested on Wednesday, and now the market's already like looking for the next thing, and maybe we don't know what it is yet?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and someone's making a point here. You've heard this story so many times, for the Gilead, and
Hmm.
it's not to poo poo the treatment, but it's later stage
It's
cases. Yeah,
severe. You have to
yeah,
be certainly hospitalized, and you're borderline going into critical condition here.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and so what's really needed is something that and just talking to Lisa about this. One thing that's been common with COVID-19 is that people come into the hospital, they're in the hospital for a bit, they're okay, and then they're sent home, and then boom, it hits them,
Hmm.
and then they come back in, and a lot of them don't make it. So
Hmm.
what would be more effective, what we want to see, is not something that is to help you in the later stages, but something when you get to that first stage that it knocks it out for good and doesn't come back. So
Hmm.
yeah, we're seeing a lot of parallels with that today. Gilead, it's still, yeah, it's falling back. It started in this last bracket at 79.80, and it's just about back there now. So can only rally so much on the same news.
And I think also weighing on things here is just there are a few major dividend cuts in the past couple of days. We had MGM and Western Digital overnight here. We had Royal Dutch Shell yesterday. So we haven't seen as many of those as I would have thought, or maybe we have and I just don't remember. But that's definitely probably weighing on sentiment here heading into the weekend.
I think when you have a tech company doing that had a 5.5% dividend, I mean, was that on the top of your mind? Them not lowering it, but absolutely eliminating their dividend. I think
Hmm.
that's I mean, not many tech stocks pay that high of a dividend, but by doing that, I mean, you're saying you got problems and that you
Hmm.
want to, bring in the cash flow in order to address those problems. Much lower open for Western Digital. Went to 38.42, starting to recover. Back up over $40, still down $5.60. But I think you had a lot of funds that just said, "Hey, not dividend." Boom, I'm getting rid of it. And we
Right.
also got the announcement that Chevron's announcing a $2 billion cut to capital spending here. So, if you're reading the tea leaves here on Friday afternoon, nothing great for the weekend.
All right, so Brent, we are about 3 minutes out from the close here. Looking ahead to next weekend, it's not as big of an earnings week, but we still do have some major names. What's on your radar for the week?
Yeah, and it's kind of quantity, definitely more next week, but not quite to the extent. So Monday, I didn't really see anything super notable. Tuesday, we're gonna get Disney after the close,
Mm.
and you'll see a little theme in some of these that I'm gonna highlight later. Definitely a play to streaming. Definitely a play to gaming. We're gonna get EA and Activision Blizzard next week, also on Tuesday. A cruise liner is gonna be on Tuesday. It's Royal Caribbean, and then Beyond Meat on Tuesday also. Wednesday, Joel, we're gonna get Peloton on Wednesday after the close. Thursday, Roku, and then again Teva. Back to the farm a little bit.
Also,
And
don't
then
forget. Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and then Friday we got a jobs data
Mm.
on Friday 8:30.
Yep, jobs data for the month of April taken during the week of the 12th, so it won't account for the full 6 week uh, mess that we've been in here as far as initial jobs claims are concerned, but it will go account for everything up till the week of the 12th.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be bad. It may not be like 25% bad, but it will be bad nonetheless. And also, don't forget, we have Berkshire's annual meeting is tomorrow. We mentioned that this
Nice.
morning, but that's going to be a big story of the weekend here. I just had a thought and I forgot what it was, so I apologize.
Dang it.
Yeah, I hate when that happens. End of the week here.
Spence,
Um,
when we've been getting our weekly initial claims data, people have been kind of discounting a little bit, like, well, we know the data is going to be really bad.
mm,
Maybe don't pay attention to it. Still, a few minutes before we're getting the data points, people are definitely talking about it. And if you're kind of rewinding to a little bit further in the pre-market, there's people that are like, okay, well, heads up for jobless claims data today. So despite the fact that we're saying, yeah, the jobs market is under a ton of pressure, and a lot of our data is going to be influenced right now, people are certainly going to be talking about the jobs data coming up on Friday over the course of next week.
yeah, I remember my point. I was gonna say with Disney, I would look to see what Comcast said. They had earnings Wednesday or
Mm.
Thursday. Look to see what Comcast said as far as their park attendance and revenue from that segment and revenue from their cable segment, because that could inform what Disney says.
Comcast doesn't have any
Certainly.
parks.
Yes, they do. Universal Studios is a Comcast
Oh, yeah,
property.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So I would look at Comcast to try to get a feel for what Disney could say when they report next week. All right, under a minute here, Joel. I'll pull up the S&Ps. Walk us into the close here.
The Bulls dug in here in the final few minutes. That pop up to 24.75, and then they tried to goose it one more time and take out the low of the day. They went to 12.75, and here we are. Never did get quite what the imbalances were. But what you're seeing here, the Bulls defend the market here on the close, and we are settling as we move. Last Friday's close was 28.29.50. We went up, we went down, but we are right back in that area. So a digestive week for the market, if you want to call it that. And should be a very, very interesting week next week to see if we can just pop off these the weekly low here and get back up towards that 2,900 area, or if we're going to start to finally have a correction from the correction.
Final reading for the day, S&P is down 2.79%. So not an encouraging end to the week. But on that note, that'll be it for us. So I want to thank Brent Slava for hanging out with us. For Joel
Thank you,
Elconin,
Spence.
I'm Spencer Israel. Everyone, please remember all the information from this broadcast is meant to be used as informational purposes and not for investing or trading advice. Everyone, have a great weekend. Be safe wherever you are. We'll be back with you on